Playing rogue decks. Man, I've been doing that for a long time. A lot of you guys might have found me from playing the rogue decks, which is why my channel name is Rogue Hero. A lot of you guys loved me when I was playing the hero deck, and I've noticed a small decline of my vlogs because I'm playing a meta deck now. But one thing I've definitely learned from playing meta decks more consistently from Yugioh to now Rizal and going into the future, still Rizal until this format is over with. I'm a Rizal fanatic, that is. I've learned a lot, and what I've learned is I've been holding myself back tenfold. So what a lot of people don't tell you about rogue decks is a lot of the times, let's be real, y'all. Let's be honest with ourselves. Those who play rogue decks, you guys win, and this includes myself when I was playing heroes, mainly because for one reason: the opponent is not prepared for your deck. What does this do for you? It gives you a huge advantage against the room because you thought of an innovative idea. However, with that being said, if the opponent was familiar with the matchup, you will lose 99% of the time unless your deck can outgrind the current meta decks with the specific technical play. Playing Rizal, I've learned just from this playing my deck right now, it's a really great deck, and when I do the basic combos, like, exit on the sword on the ice, make dual drive, let that resolve because I have Cross-Eye Designator and Talents in hand, and then ending my board with Detonator, Abyss Dweller Pass. What I've learned from Rizal, just playing Rizal and playing Yugioh when I played Yugioh, there's a lot more technical play that goes on in metagame matches versus when you're using a rogue deck. So let's talk about it. So, if you guys are new here, hit the subscribe button for more. I'm uploading as much content as I can throughout the week. And check out my channel sponsor in the description down below. But like I was saying, playing these meta decks right now, I'm learning so much on how much my technical play was off. And that was something I didn't really get to do when I was with heroes, because a lot of times when I was playing my hero deck, I go Ferris and an increase. You guys will not believe how many times people try to Ash Blossom increase effect off the tribute to summon himself in the back row. And then they mess up, not use his effect to summon from deck. They'll hold it and then try to waste the Ash Blossom on my Vion to dump. Now, if you know anything about heroes, you hold the Ash Blossom on the Vion to, on the summon of increase from the deck, but a lot of people didn't know that. And there was a lot of reasons why I won. That just ain't gonna lie, pure freaking luck. A lot of the times, rogue decks flug at the opponent. That's not really showcasing skill within a matchup. But playing a deck like Rizal, I might get a lot of hate for this. And a lot of you guys might unsubscribe, but just hear me out for a second, because I feel you guys. I'm a rogue player at heart. It's just I found a meta deck that I like. I'm not gonna stop playing it to appease you guys who want to see me lose with heroes. A lot of the times, when you're winning with rogue, you're winning because you're floodgating. When you're playing a meta deck, even though Rizal can flood it with Abyss Dweller, those 99% games where I'm just not ending on Abyss Dweller, or if I'm playing as a deck like Malice that don't really care about Dweller that much outside of having their Druid Swarm effect pretty much shut off for the turn, I gotta be on my P's and Q's in that matchup, because if I don't, I'm gonna lose. Also, when you're playing a meta deck, there's a skill in learning how to innovate your meta deck versus playing against an opponent who is playing you and they're using a rogue deck, because rogue deck is innovation off the rip. Meta decks, people know how to play against you. They know what to side against you. They have main deck text for you. I'm gonna give you guys an example. When I went to Locals on Friday. Locals on Friday, played against a guy. He's main deck and Droll like myself. I guess he's prepping for 7 Tachyon to come out. Apparently that card is bad. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. Is 7 Tachyon a bad card? I've seen at least 2 different YouTubers call it bad, and a few people in the comment section of their videos call it bad. So that's the word on the street: 7 Tachyon is a bad card. And people are entitled to their opinions, not throwing no shade. I just disagree with their opinion on that card being bad. Now, with that being said, however, though, people are starting to main deck things like Droll for stuff like 7 Tachyon and the Rizal Mirror match. And people like Steven Santoli, the guy who popularized the Go Second build with the Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, and the main deck Ultimate Slayers and the Solemn Strikes, they're playing that build as well to counteract the Mirror match and the Fiendspith builds. So as a pure, thoroughbred, generic, OG Rizal player who's pretty much playing my own version of what they was doing in the LCG, because I think those are the most consistent builds out here, I'm running into a hard time of winning a lot more because everyone and their mother is having these techs in their deck, and a lot of games I could win, but I don't win. I realized that afterwards, oh, if I did this a certain way, like if I Ash blossomed on the sequence versus on the engraver, my win ratio percentage would have went up. It's little things like that that you don't really get when playing a rogue deck that you get with playing a meta deck that help make your skill a lot better as an overall player. Now, I'm not just here to shit on rogue decks. Like I said, I love rogue decks. I got my only YCS top. Yes, I'm a YCS topper for you guys who do not know. 10 years ago with a rogue deck, which was Chain Gadgets, which I got the idea from Japan. So for you guys that say Japanese lists aren't real or deck ideas aren't real, there's the proof in the pudding, at least in my own personal experience. But what I will say this though, Rogue helps you out a lot because when you playing Rogue, you learn how to outgrind yourself out of scenarios. But like I said, even as a hero player, since people didn't know what my deck could lead to, my outgrinding, I'd argue, kind of held me back because I only got to that certain point in the thought process of the game state of the game by just my opponent not knowing where to hand trap and or where to interrupt me. Versus when I'm playing a Rizel, it's like, okay, they know where to interrupt me. How can I outsmart this guy to take the bait for something and then capitalize on that taking the bait? How can I take my deck out to make sure that when they're trying to take the bait from me, I have an extra spice in my deck to counteract what they're doing, on top of me just not outright winning because I'm floodgating them out. Now, obviously, meta decks are toxic. The big argument from a lot of role players is, and this was my argument as well, meta decks can do XYZ 1, 2, 3, which is pretty much setting up multiple Omni negates in a turn, floodgates in a turn. A deck like Malice is a pseudo FTK if they go first because they're setting up multiple layers of interruption. Same thing with Yugioh. But anybody who's played metagame matches, metagame mirror matches, a lot of the times, like real talk, as a Rizel player and even as a Yugioh player, I played full power Yugioh pre the Fame Smith stuff. I just didn't want. I ain't had the money to drop for that stuff. Well, I'm like I did, but I wasn't traveling to YCS, so there wasn't a point dropping money on that stuff. But I've still played full power Yugioh at the time, and I almost topped the YCS I went to. I went like 7-3-1. Completely lost my last round on a misplay, but even if I finished 8-2-1, I wouldn't have made it because that draw was cutting me out of top cut anyway. But my point is, though, even in the Yugioh mirror match, I was still beating people going full combo. Why? Because my deck just naturally counteracts the mirror match and goes from there. And there are other decks in the room that could beat that. Fire King Snake Eyes is a good example of a deck back in that format where it was still one of the best meta decks, but it wasn't like number one. It was like number 3. I think pure Snake Eyes was still better. And mono e mono Yugioh versus Snake Eyes, it wasn't so much so, oh, if they go first, they're automatically winning. Just like now, I can pop off my Riser deck and still lose. It happens all the time. Some people could pop off with their freaking Malice deck and still lose. It happens all the time. I've personally beaten Malice players that popped off with their whole complete field. My turn starts, exit Riser, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, shut off your one dude. Only time I lose to that deck, really, right recently, is if they have the Griffin. And even then, when I was teching things like Forbidden Droplet in my main deck, which I'm not doing right now, but I might go back to it, I don't know yet, I had an Alfred Nightmare Griffin. So main deck techs matter. Different things that you're doing in the metagame matters. And I think that all makes you a solidly good player. So to get to my main point of this video and to wrap things up, I don't want this video being too long. And you guys say you guys love my discussions. They've been getting a lot of good reviews from you guys, so I'm happy to give you guys my discussions. I'm one of those guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys anymore, and I'm not going to send my audience off anymore and say, hey, be a rogue player, F the meta decks. I'm not trying to be a fucking contrarian. I'm literally just trying to be myself and tell you guys, look, if you're going to play rogue, just understand what to expect when playing rogue. And if you got the money and you care about winning in this game, play a meta deck, get your feet wet, understand the technical play of that meta deck, then go back to your rogue deck and learn from what you learn from your meta deck and make your rogue deck better. If you don't have the money, there's no excuse. We have a free platform called duelingbook.com. Learn your rogue deck, but go on Dueling Book and learn these meta decks. I've preached this all the time. If you don't at least know what your meta deck is doing or know what the best decks are doing, if you're not playing against them constantly or playtesting with them constantly to know the ins and out of them, you're not going to get good at the game. You're not going to get better at the game. So if you grind the Dueling Book ladder, let's say if you're a hero player, right? And you're like, screw this, I'm not playing Ryzen, I'm not playing Malice, I'm going to play heroes. Go on Dueling Book, build Ryzel, get good with Ryzel, get good with Malice. or just get good with the best deck in the format and just practice the technical play. Understand why that deck takes skill in a lot of scenarios, so that way you're becoming a more well-rounded player. Because, like I've been saying for the past couple weeks now, when you're playing meta, the skill comes in with the technical play and the mirror matches and things like that, and handling other decks in the meta game, especially when everyone's main deck and stuff to out you. And then when you're playing rogue, the skill is just coming up with a deck strategy that just, let's just be honest, outsmart the opponent because they don't know what you're doing. So I think you need both of those skills to be a good player, to be an overall well-rounded player. And I think people like Jeff Jones and even Billy Brake, I've seen Billy Brake topped with Rogue back in the day, because I know him and Jeff Jones did a collaboration on Mermail some years ago, and they actually took that deck to an event and both did good with it, or they both got really close. I'm pretty sure one of them topped the event with it. But I bring all that up to say this, man. A lot of you guys, the reason why people just don't do good, and I'm learning this myself, because I'm one of you guys. Even though I have a little bit of credentials in the game, I'm not the best player. I'm a dad. I have a kid. I have responsibilities. But recently, I've been given an opportunity, thanks to you guys, and things that happen in my personal life that allow me to play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot more, at least for the time being. So I'm taking my knowledge that I'm learning, and I want to share it to you guys for you guys to do better as well. So tell me what you guys think. You guys agree with me or disagree with me? Like I said, this is no hate against people who play Rogue. Like I said, I got love for my Rogue players. I'm still a Rogue hero, even though I'm playing a meta deck. That don't necessarily mean I won't go back to Rogue in the near future. However, with that being said, anytime I find a meta deck I like, I'm gonna play that deck. I don't care what people say. It gets boring as hell to play the same deck all the time. And a lot of those times, the reason why I didn't even want to make content, because I'm playing heroes. I don't want to go to locals and go 2-1 or struggle to go X1. Like, I don't want to do that. It's boring. It gets dull. I'm tired of the same old combos. And let's be honest, after a certain while, when the road deck is respectable, when people start topping with it, like the Christmas dude who topped Nats with heroes, once people learn that matchup, your win ratio goes down with that deck. So, yeah, man. Hope you guys liked the discussion. It's your boy Rogue, and I'm signing out. Peace. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.